All right, all right, all right. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9. Right on time, right on time, right on time. Ready to rock and roll one more time. Today, we're about to do a little number here. Let me just check on this right here. See if it works. It does work. Or does it? Nope, it don't. Okay. Okay. Now, all right, we're ready now. Sorry about that. Whew, I digress. Just had to check on my camera work. All right, so today we are continuing on out of our book African Americans, Voices of Triumph. That's right, we're going to triumph today. Starting off with our proverb of the day. When the leopard is away, his cubs are eaten. When the leopard is away, his cubs are eaten. And that is a proverb from Rwanda, Burundi. Rwanda, Burundi. Yeah, that's almost like a tongue twister there. Burundi. Rwanda, Burundi. There we go now. Okay, when the leopard is away, his cubs are eaten. So that just means you know what. I'll let you figure that out. Seems to be quite obvious to me. Poem of the day. This is one from Stajabu. She calls it Old School, because you know that girl is old school, just like me. Old school. Yeah, I'm an old head, got gray dread, been around the block a few times, getting frequent senior discounts now, and don't have to stand in lines because the young folks step aside and offer me their seat most times. Yes, I'm a mature size, got floaters in my eyes, high blood pressure, bursitis, plantar fasciitis, and a little arthritis in my right hand. People tend to call me ma'am. When they take a mind to speak sometimes, some call me auntie, sister, mama, grandmom, or old G. Though there are days I feel 20, don't take planes or nothing fast, like to walk on dirt or grass. Go to bed at 9 and get up at 5 and give thanks each day that I'm alive. They say I'm way over the hill, and yes, I do take my pills, vitamins, A, B, C, D, and E, and damn near the whole alphabet. Yet I still tire just the same, and my knees ache some when it rains. Though I'm not as well off as some, I'm a little better off than most. Still got some of my own teeth. Don't mean to boast, but I keep up with the latest style in my own way, like what I'm wearing today. For instance, and as they say, ain't nothing shaking but the leaves and the trees. They wouldn't be shaking if it wasn't for the breeze. And I'm the breezes blowing. They call me old school. Just because I'm old school don't mean I'm no damn fool, though. You know that's right. It's the Jabu. That's my girl right there. All right, and we're moving on to Songhai. Returning to a nation on the Niger, as most people like to say, although some like to say the Niger, some like to say the Niger. Just don't say nigga because you won't get no bigger. Yeah, trying to tell you, we're not even going there. Building the nation on salt and gold, when Askia Muhammad made Hajj, he brought along not only 500 cavalrymen, 1,000 foot soldiers, but also a treasury of 300,000 pieces of gold. Yes, which he dispensed generously along the route and in Mecca. His pilgrimage spread the fame of the Songhai Empire and promoted trade with North African merchants. The merchants craved the Songhai The merchants craved Songhai gold and offered in return something the Songhai craved even more: salt. Now, this is what we call trade and barter: salt for gold. Because in the end, gold ain't going to save you from dehydration, but salt will. That's right, help you retain some water. For the empire had almost no natural sources of this essential mineral. The traffic in salt and gold helped finance the development of a strong, well-organized state in which Timbuktu and other market centers flourished. As early as the 14th century, about 2/3 of the gold used to mint coins in Europe and the Arab world came from this region. As early as the 14th century, that's the 1300s, about 2/3 of the gold used to mint coins in Europe and the Arab world came from this region. I just wanted to say that part over again. Slabs of salt carved from mines around the Saharan town of Tagaza were carried by camel across the desert to the Niger. The arduous trip typically took at least 3 months. How did they make those trips? On foot. You don't ride no camel in the desert. The camel is a beast of burden. That's what you put your load on. You, however, are walking. That's why the Masons to this day have a ceremony they call walking the burning sands. This is what they're talking about, that if you wanted to get the gold, somebody was going to have to walk those burning sands. And 5 such trips were considered enough for a lifetime. Dang. Just 5 trips, huh? Yet the merchants were highly motivated to brave the desert's hazards. As the books, writing paper, horses, swords, and knives they brought commanded good prices in the bustling city and marketplaces that you can see here on the left. You can see the bustling marketplace right there. You see a bustling marketplace. This is in Central West Africa. And you see he's got the scale right there. He's weighing out the gold compared to something else. I'm not sure what it is that he's buying, but you weigh it out like that. That's why they talk about giving somebody their weight in gold. They weren't kidding about that. They were serious as a heart attack. They say no joke. Just trying to hit a little stroke. Oh, and here it is, right here. They commanded good prices in the bustling city marketplaces, and their salt was literally, as I just stated, worth its weight in gold to the Songhai. Fortunately, the southern reaches of the Songhai Empire were studded with rich deposits of gold. The exact locations of the gold mines were kept and are still today a great mystery. And to keep them hidden, the miners used a strange and secretive way of trading. Caravans would arrive at a spot designated by a go-between. There, the traders would unload and spread out their wares and would then withdraw a good many miles. The miners would appear, inspect the merchandise, leave amounts of gold for what they wanted, and withdraw in turn. If the merchants were satisfied with the price, they would collect the gold and depart. If not, they would leave everything in place to show the miners that they expected to be paid more. Once both sides were happy, each would collect its gold or goods, and the business would be concluded without either side's ever having seen or spoken to the other. Now see, and that's how you do that, right? It didn't require any kind of talk. It didn't require any kind of translator, because you could trade and barter. If they like what you got, they pick it up and take it with them. If they didn't like the trade, they just leave it there and return to their position and allow you to come and look and see that they didn't take anything. So there you need to leave some more of your product or your gold, which, however it may be. So, now I did say I was going to do 2 of these today, didn't I? Let me see if I can do one more today, if I got enough time. So that one was on building a nation on salt and gold. And let's see how much time we got left here. Oh yeah, we've got about 4 minutes. So let's see what I got. Bastions of rural traditions. Bastions of rural traditions. People living outside the cities of the Songhai Empire didn't discard their age-old ways when their rulers flirted with or embraced Islam. They continued worshiping their traditional deity who created the world. They prayed to their deified ancestors, and they believed in the same spirits that in antiquity had guided the lives of their forebears. They may have paid taxes to distant rulers, but their traditional ways sustained them at home. To rural people, human beings were both biological and spiritual. The spiritual was the most important aspect of a person's existence and survived his or her death. You saw that in the Black Panther movie. Thus, a beloved grandparent who died would continue to be a part of the community in non-corporeal form. So yeah, you remember that part where the brother, the king, he went, or the prince, he went and talked to his father, the former king, in the ancestral realm. The rhythms of rural life had a reassuring regularity, as exemplified at the right in this picture of a village scenery. Village scenery here. There you go. Village scenery. Notice those homes in the background. Those are not pyramids. Those are the tops of their houses. And you can see they're quite conical. And from a distance, they appear to be pyramids. Okay. So as exemplified at right in this picture of a village of the Bambara people, one of the constituent tribes of the Songhai Empire, pounds grain to make flour. The village blacksmith heats iron preparatory to fashioning a household tool or a farming implement. Another woman braids a child's hair under a baobab tree. A group of men convene in a village council to hash out a dispute. Country people lived under a social organization far older and more complex than the stratified society developed by Askia Muhammad. They grouped themselves according to clan, village, ancestry, even craft or vocation. A person born into one of these groupings tended to remain in it for life and to choose a mate from within it. The seasons set the pace for the ebb and flow of rural life. In the dry months, when agricultural work slowed almost to a stop, life was unhurried, and most activities took place in the village. People visited friends, rebuilt or repaired their grass-thatched houses, and made pottery, mats, baskets, and textiles for domestic use and for commerce. During the rainy season, from May to early September, many villagers moved temporarily to outlying farming hamlets, where they stayed until they cultivated more distant fields. When the soil closer to home was exhausted, villagers resorted to plots that might lie as much as 20 miles away. How did they get there? They walked. How long did it take? Not quite sure. But I do know that in Ethiopia in recent times, not in the ancient history, in recent times, some of these runners, the long distance runners that you see, if you talk about their story, they'll tell you that each day they'd have to run 20 or 30 miles to school. Because if they got there late, bam, it was like you were dealing with a nun, and it wasn't going to be fun. And that ain't no pun. They would really be seriously under a gun. And then for lunch, they'd have to run back home, eat their lunch, and then run back to school. And then when they got done with school, they didn't already run 3 times. They might as well run all the way home because they're used to it by that time. So that was a preferred mode of transportation, and still is today, as by the way, for many millions and billions of people around the globe. And now if you look here again, one more thing you see right here under my finger, that is the world-renowned baobab tree. Now we found the baobab tree in areas that are near the desert or on the edge of the desert, like Niger. We find the baobab tree down in Southern Africa, in Zimbabwe. We find the baobab tree in Kenya, East Africa. So apparently the baobab tree is a tree that's indigenous to Africa, and it's something that's common all over the continent. That's one of the things that binds people, the culture, African cultures together, is the recollection of and the uses of the baobab tree. There's a whole story we could tell just on the baobab tree, but I can't tell that one today, but maybe on another day. In the meantime, I got to go because I can't afford to play. My time has just run out. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9 signing off. Peace out, y'all. See you next time. Tonight, 9 o'clock. Look for it.